Well, it's still sitting here. I told you this before the storm, that if they left it here through the storm, it probably wouldn't get out of here. I don't think I'm going to be able to get out of here until the snow melts. I mean, the beast might be able to move it, you know, if I picked up the back end, but it might be able to if it's heavy enough on the back end. But I still got to keep the front end pretty weighted down, otherwise it just pops up on me. And so I was a little bit worried about leaving that here. We've been here 2 weeks now. I guess we're coming up on 3 weeks actually. And I don't know when the snow's gonna melt. And I know somebody's gonna say, well, you should shovel the snow. Well, it was already a sheet of ice, and I'm not gonna salt. It was already a sheet of ice by the time the snow stops, you know, by the time it stopped snowing, I should say. Because I had to walk back and forth so many times that it just packed it down and froze into a big ice sheet. I mean, this isn't snow anymore, that's just pure ice. You get down here, you can tell that's ice. So, what are you gonna do? So the other day I made a video. I was talking about emergency repairs. During the snow, it was snowing probably an inch an hour or something like that. I mean, it was really coming down. The roads were already covered, and the snow crews, you know, the road crews, they weren't cleaning the streets. As a matter of fact, by the time it was all said and done, they didn't touch it. It had completely finished snowing before they even come out on the roads around here to clear them off. And then when they did clear them off, it was too cold to salt them, so they didn't salt them until after it cleared off. So he calls and says, I need to get my snowblower fixed. It's leaking gas. Now, I try to advertise as much as possible that you should bring your equipment in early, especially during snow and generator seasons. If I know there's a storm coming, I always post, hey, bring your snowblowers in or your generators in, or at least check them, make sure they're running. You know, I'll say something like that. If they're not running, bring them in. There's enough time to get them fixed. And I always do this in the springtime and the fall time. I throw out a little advertisement saying, hey, now's the perfect time to do it. But during a snowstorm, it's just not reasonable for me to think that I'm going to do that. I don't have the resources to do it. My downside is I have to order parts. And I know the trolls were all upset when I said that. You should stock inventory. If you're going to be in the business, you just as well do it right. Okay, but I'm not going to. So I don't understand your point. It's a hobby business. I've already told you that. And if I'm willing to lose a customer or not get the job because it costs too much money to store inventory, I mean, what if I buy something like a snowblower carburetor kit and I never sell it? I'm just out that money. There's $20 gone. Now, you do that over enough product lines. I mean, when you think about lawnmowers and generators and snow blowers, weed eaters, chainsaws, all the stuff you have to have inventory for, it gets too overwhelming. And I'm just not going to put that kind of investment. You know, you got $20,000 just sitting there waiting for your shop to burn down. And I think most people understand that. And somebody will bring their lawnmower over. How long is it going to take? I'll say, I promise 2 weeks. I try to get it done faster than that, but it depends on if parts show up. Oh, you don't have parts? No, I don't. And the thing is I don't even sell parts. I don't advertise I sell parts. And people call and say, you sell this or that? Nope, I don't sell anything. Oh, okay. You know how I can get it? And I will reference people where they can get it. But even if I went into town, a 30-mile trip, 40-mile trip, to go buy parts, I'm not going to do it in a snowstorm. I mean, that's just insane. Even if I even asked AI, what should I do? Well, it said, charge triple the price. Well, okay, so I charge triple the price. I still don't have the part, so that means I go to town. Does triple the price cover the tow bill when I, put my truck in a ditch? Or the damage that I'm going to cause when I go into a ditch? Nope. It's $500 deductible, probably $150 tow bill. On a job, even if I triple charged, what, be $200? Probably not that much. I mean, I could really, put a huge price to it. Maybe I could say, yeah, I'll do it for $500, but I'm not going to get the job that way either. The only thing I've done there is I've told them I'm not going to do it I told them, you're not going to want to do it. That's all I've said. Either way, I'm discouraging them from doing it. So I got this one comment, well, if I have a flat tire on the side of the road and I call a mechanic, I expect them to come out. Okay, you're going to call a mechanic who is set up to do that kind of service. You're not going to call this guy right here. He doesn't do that. You're going to call the other guy who has a tow truck and the equipment and all the stuff where they can do on-site repairs. Those small repairs. This guy's set up to do major engine fixes. They're not going to do that on the side of the road. So no, you're comparing apples to oranges. I'm the guy who's going to take quality care on making a repair. I'm not going to go out and do a rush job in 0-degree temperatures to satisfy a customer. Thing is, I don't think that guy was going to bring it over. I think if I'd have said, yeah, I'll work on it, his next thing would have been, okay, well, you're going to have to come over and either get it or you're going to have to work on it here. So I've still been out on the road. So the expectation was that I sacrifice everything because he neglected to take care of his equipment. Well, how do you know that he neglected it? He may not know that you're supposed to remove the gas from the generator or from the snowblower. That's fine. I completely understand that. But when I advertise, hey, you want to bring it in early so we have plenty of time to get it fixed and running. I mean, what if it wasn't a carburetor? What if it needed an oil change? It could have been anything. I know I'm using really silly examples, but so their emergency doesn't make it my emergency. It's not a house on fire or a heart attack. It's a snowblower that's going to inconvenience you, so you have to shovel snow. That really is your mistake. Here's an example that I kind of thought of in my head. If you have bald tires on your car and you're driving down the road and you have a blowout, now you call this guy over here who does engine rebuilds and that kind of stuff, and you say, hey, I need a tire for this because it blew out. Well, why did it blow out? Well, you know how it is. You don't always have the money, and my tires were bald, and somebody's throwing their trash in my yard here. So I we're running down the road and had a blowout, and now I need you to come fix it. It's also tore up the fender well, and I need it before 7 a.m. because I got to get to work. Okay, well, that's just not going to happen. And that's what you're asking a small town. Here's the thing that I don't think these trolls are considering. This is a small town that doesn't have a lot of money, and in the wintertime, the people who have two homes, they come down here to spend the summer. They're not here in the wintertime. So there's no business in the wintertime. The occasional snowblower and the occasional chainsaw, but that's about it. It's my time to take off, actually. I really enjoy it. So So we live in a poor town, and I'm just trying to service the town, make a little extra cash. I'm not trying to get rich. I'm not trying to start a multi-million-dollar business. So if I started stocking inventory, I would have to charge more money. And I told you last summer, I struggled for several months trying to figure out if I wanted to raise my prices in a small town. Well, you start stocking inventory, and then you get four-wheel drive equipment and all the equipment you need to travel around the roads and, you know, all that stuff. Now you take, should I raise my prices 20 bucks to, should I raise my prices $100? I'm never going to get any business. So your argument just doesn't make any sense that I should do more for a customer who is not willing to pay more. So I just wanted to vent this out a little bit. Well, I mean, look at this. This is kind of what I'm talking about. It's stuck here. He brought it over. I mean, I don't want to give you a lot of details, but I would imagine he may not have the money right now to come pick it up. So it's sitting here. I have to maintain it. So this is a service that I'm providing. Now, should I charge more? According to the trolls, absolutely you should charge more. I can almost hear it now. But he doesn't have the money now. Why would he have more money later? He's struggling to catch up with it is, and now you're going to charge him interest for storage fees? I'd rather have the customer come back and happy. As long as they work with me, I'll work with them, is kind of the philosophy I go with. But if you're just going to call me up and say, hey, you need to immediately adjust your schedule, you need to rearrange it. Let's just assume I was a busy shop. And he calls up and says, I need you to fix this right now. Well, what about the 20 customers in front of you? Do I put them on hold? You know, they brought their equipment in early so they could have it ready. And you want me to just immediately stop what I'm doing to work on yours? But still, I don't have the parts. It's an illogical argument in my mind. I understand your point, but if you're not getting paid to do that, then it's a stupid argument. So keep it up, trolls. I know you just love to think you've outsmart me, but you never do. So if you'll click this up next box to take you to a video over on my other channel, really appreciate it. Go check it out. So I hope I can inspire you. Don't make somebody else's emergency your problem, so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.